Okay, let's get more on this. I am joined by N.H Ravindranath from Bangalore, India. He's a professor of ecology at the Indian Institute of Science. The most obvious question to ask you first, Professor, what's the cause? Why are things getting hotter?
Firstly, it's a global trend. In the last few years, every year records are being broken. So it's due to global warming and climate change. Secondly, it's an El Nino year, which also leads to a little bit of warming around the world. Plus, of course, urbanization, deforestation, increased use of air conditioning, all feeds into higher temperatures especially in the urban centers.
We know that efforts are being made around the world, for example, to reduce global emissions, to go green. Are those efforts enough?
No, not at all. Paris Agreement has set a target of keeping the global warming below 1.5 degrees, throughout the century. But we are already global mean has touched 1.2, and in the recent weeks we crossed even 1.4 degrees. So we are almost close to the dangerous threshold. But our emissions continue to increase, unfortunately.
What will the effects of this be? If things keep getting hotter in certain parts of the world, are we going to see people start migrating because of temperature, because of a lack of resources such as water?
Yes, if high temperature coupled with uh, you know drought, for example, will lead to forest fires, like you're finding it in Canada and in Southeast Asia. There would be forest fires. There could be, due to increased high temperature, there could be increased flooding. So definitely there could be migration across borders. For example, from if there is increased flooding from Bangladesh, there could be more people coming into India. And again, within India, for example, there could be migration from low-lying areas to high-lying areas. Yes, migration is one of the biggest challenges facing the earth, many countries and across countries. Plus, of course, impacts on food production, health, water resources. They're all very well known, very well recorded, and published by Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
If you're saying that enough is not being done, if you got the chance to decide exactly what people had to do across the world today, what has to be done?
We have to reduce emissions. The only solution, the only long-term solution, the only sustainable solution is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We have to reduce emissions by almost 45 to 50% by 2030, and our emissions are continuously increasing, global emissions. So there is no other way than increasing action to shift to renewables, undertake more afforestation, conserve forests, and so on and so forth, improve energy efficiency, shift to solar, wind, biomass, and other renewable source of energy. There is no option than reducing emissions as soon as possible.
Okay, much appreciate your analysis. My guest, N.H Ravindranath, a professor of ecology at the Indian Institute of Science.